everybody. Welcome back to another week of media. Well, I don't know about you guys, but this weekend, my family went pumpkin picking. Go like this if your family has gone pumpkin picking this season. That's awesome. I'm curious, has anyone made a jack-o'-lantern? Oh, that's so much fun. You know, I will say my jack-o'-lanterns never come out the way I expect them to look, but it's a lot of fun making them, right? So, because I'm talking about pumpkins, I thought this week I'd read us some books that have to do with pumpkins because it's a pumpkin time of year. All right, so the first book I'm going to read is an excellent book that is called How Big Could Your Pumpkin Grow? And let me tell you, in this book, the pumpkin gets huge, gigantic, and it goes all over the country. So let's take a look at How Big Could Your Pumpkin Grow, which is written and illustrated by Wendell Miner. Let me get to the first page. So again, How Big Could Your Pumpkin Grow? At the pumpkin farm, we pick the perfect pumpkin. Some are little, some are big, and some are giant-sized. Giant pumpkin festivals are tons of fun. Will the biggest pumpkin set a world's record? Wow! Look at that giant pumpkin. What can you do with an enormous pumpkin? Carve it into a boat and race in the regatta? Row, row, row your pumpkin. The legendary Paul Bunyan and his Blue Ox Babe were giants too. They like to think big. If they gave you giant pumpkin seeds, how big could your pumpkin grow? Would it rise as high as hot air balloons at the fall fiesta fair? Or beam as bright as the lighthouse at the beach? Your gigantic pumpkin could glow like the skyscrapers. But watch out, horns will honk on the bridge when it blocks traffic. Beep, beep. They do things big in Texas. Would your giant pumpkin be boss in a jumbo cowboy hat? Or a hungry monster gobbling riders on the tallest, fastest roller coaster? Oh my gosh, look at that. Oh! Imagine if your pumpkin was too immense for hide and seek and couldn't even hide behind the Capitol Dome. Yeah, this is the Capitol Dome in Washington, D.C. And look, that pumpkin is so big, it hides behind the Capitol Dome. My goodness. And, ooh, do you see what's flying across the moon? Ooh, a witch. Perhaps your mighty pumpkin could grow up to be president. Hail to the chief. And it says pumpkin for president. Now this right here, this is Mount Rushmore, okay, which is in South Dakota. And all of these faces are famous presidents. We've got Washington, Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln, of course. And then, hey, why not a pumpkin too? Sure. Would your stupendous pumpkin make a super splash atop a towering waterfall? 3, 2, 1, blast off! Wouldn't your astronomical pumpkin smile to see a rocket zoom into space? Could the most colossal pumpkin fill the Grand Canyon? Who knows? Isn't it fun to imagine giant pumpkins everywhere you go? And now at the end of the book, they have all the different places that they show in the book, okay? Because all of these different pages were different landmarks and things that have to do with different states in our country, which is so cool. So that's the end of How Big Could Your Pumpkin Grow? You know what, though? That book was really short. I think we need another pumpkin book this week. Absolutely. And I found a really good one that is called The Ugly Pumpkin. That's not nice. We should not call anyone ugly. But in this story, this pumpkin, he doesn't fit in with the other pumpkins. Now, this is actually based on a very well-known story called The Ugly Duckling, which is written years and years ago by Hans Christian Andersen. Go like this if you know the story of The Ugly Duckling. Well, if you remember, at the end of that story, the duckling, he finds out that he wasn't a duck all along. Yeah, at the end of the story, he finds out that he's actually a beautiful swan. So let's see if this pumpkin, or what he thinks is a pumpkin, really is a pumpkin. All right, so here it is. The Ugly Pumpkin, written and illustrated by Dave Horowitz. All right, the Ugly Pumpkin. I am the ugly pumpkin, as you can plainly see. Of 100,000 pumpkins, none are quite like me. Since early in October, I've been waiting to get picked, but each time things start looking up, I end up getting tricked. A skeleton came for pumpkins one bright and crispy day. I asked if I could get a ride. He laughed and said, "Ha, no way." And when I said it's getting late and I don't have a home, he rolled his eye and said goodbye and left me all alone. So I walked into November, where I happened on some trees. I asked if I could stay a while, and this time I said please. The trees all started smiling, and then one finally spoke. "Take off your boots and spread your roots." Another cruel joke. Yeah, look, the trees just started throwing apples at him. That is not nice at all. "I am the ugly pumpkin," I shouted to the sky. And then it started raining, and I began to cry. Oh, that poor ugly pumpkin. I feel so bad for him. I took shelter in a garden that was overrun with squash. I noticed something very odd and then thought, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I'm a squash. At last it was Thanksgiving, and I found where I fit in. Now you know my story, so let the feast begin. Happy Thanksgiving. All right, it's a little early for Thanksgiving, but I think it's really nice how at the end of this story, it ended up that he wasn't actually a pumpkin, right? He was a squash. All right, so I like that. I like that it's a play on the ugly duckling story, but instead we've got an ugly pumpkin who's really a squash. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed these wonderful pumpkin books, and I have some fun pumpkin games that you could play on the computer. All right, have a great week. Bye.